Hi, Neota.
Hi, Miri. I've been
Hi.
thinking about the paradox between how I parent and how I hypnotherapy kids. Because I'm constantly at my child, do it better, be perfect, do it my way, and I'm constantly creating this inner dialogue within my child about how he has to be perfect. And then I get kids in my chair in my office and I am undoing that programming from their parents.
I think you're absolutely right. I have the same feeling. And luckily, as I work more and more with kids, I see it, as you just mentioned, clearly, so clearly. And every time I say something to my kids, like, you know, my teenager daughter, you need to clean your room or do something, and said, does she? Really? Why?
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah, and those are the things that become the inner dialogue inside of our brains are those criticisms and those standards and those and there has to be that balance, right? Like, do your best is good enough, and to create
Yes.
that you know do your best, play your strengths,
And I
you
think
are
this
good
is a
enough.
very, very important point that you're touching because do your best is different than try your best,
Right, right.
right? Because well, I tried my best. No, I can't do it. But
Yeah,
do your best is something that is much more motivating and you do it. Well, I
yeah,
do it. And now you have options. When you do your best, you have options. When you try your best, it's like, I'm defeated. I don't do it. I don't know how to do it.
exactly. And then to know that you have done your best, you have given this your best effort, and then to accept that is perfectly good enough.
But with it, it can be also after you do your best, what else do you need to maybe improve? Not because I'm telling you, no, as a mother, but
Right.
because you are exploring, your curiosity is now expanding, your
Yes.
creativity is expanding, and now you're evolving rather than try your best and nothing happens. So
Right.
before we
Right.
start, let's introduce ourselves
Yeah.
and then move on and talk about anxiety, perfectionism, and what's in between.
For
Um,
kids,
for
with
kids,
kids
for
in
kids.
hypnosis.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm Neota, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist in Nanaimo, BC, on Vancouver Island. And I see my clients in person at Vancouver Island Therapy, but I see clients virtually online over Zoom or Skype or what have you, from anywhere in the world. I see people globally.
And I'm Miri Malkin, also clinical hypnotherapist and coach, and I see my clients in Vancouver, BC, where I'm living and online globally. And we met about, I don't know how many years ago, but many years ago in
Many
hypnosis
years ago.
school. Yeah, in hypnosis school. And since then, we are practicing hypnosis. We love working with kids, we love working with adults, and mostly we love seeing transformations.
Indeed. Yeah.
And so let's talk more about anxiety, perfectionism, and anything in between with kids.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, when parents are listening to this, to understand, imagine if you had had an earlier intervention in your thinking and in your feeling about self-acceptance, about your perfectionism, about being comfortable and confident with doing your best, and to not be, to not listen to that critic telling you it's not good enough, you're not perfect.
And it's very related beautifully to anxiety because many times anxiety is peaking when we don't think we do things perfect. But
Right.
when you think about it, there is no perfect because when we do things the way in a perfect way, as we think about perfect, we always want to change something. So
Yes.
the journey is endless and there is no perfection. And
Yes.
if we are thriving to do everything perfect, we just gonna be more and more anxious about it, rather than
Right.
produce something that is beautiful and it's good enough. And good enough, not in a bad way, not in a
Oh,
um, you know, minimalistic way. It's good enough because we gave it enough thoughts, we
yeah.
designed it better, we planned it well, and we executed it. When we think
Yes.
about perfectionism, most of the time, we don't even get into a place where we can execute our thoughts because it's not perfect yet.
Right. That's right. And so then there's that blockage. There's an actual blockage, like the anxiety will prevent kids from trying because they've already decided that they've failed because it's imperfect, and it creates an actual blockage that they won't even engage. And so
Absolutely.
helping them reframe that, helping them remove that blockage to manage the anxiety, which, to reframe it, because anxiety can feel like this feeling is too big for me, but it's
Yeah.
also relatable to this thing is very exciting to me, and to take
Yes.
away the negative aspect of it and help them either minimalize or remove it, or to reassign it something positive, like this is exciting, just learning how my effort at this thing is going to be exciting, to how, like, I'm excited to feel how this will turn out after I've begun it and engaged with it, and to be able to help them reframe that into something positive instead of negative, something empowering instead of debilitating.
Absolutely. And when you add what follows if we don't do it,
Right.
when you look at the consequences, then we start developing self-criticism, our self-worth is plummeted, self-esteem is not that high, um, and we just not progressing in what we want to progress in.
Yeah,
Um, and I think this is one of the best things that we can give our kids is like eliminate perfectionism because it doesn't exist,
exactly.
and encourage creativity and curiosity and excitement and playfulness and all those into the equation of doing something,
Yes. Yes.
and give productive feedback.
Yeah. I mean, to give them the space, the confidence to learn, to
Yeah.
have a learning curve. You don't start something on the first day and have it be your best effort. It's a progression, to give them that opportunity to express themselves through the progression, through sometimes leaps and bounds of improving, and sometimes realizing where your limit is.
Yeah. So we see like an influx of anxiety since COVID, but also before that. But COVID just enhanced it. And parents who would like to bring kids in for anxiety, to deal with anxiety. But anxiety is not only anxiety, there are things that are feeding anxiety and make it
Yeah.
grow bigger. So perfectionism is one.
Yes.
Um, Also, insecurity, instability, um, and not knowing what's going on is another
Yeah.
one.
Well, anxiety is fed by wanting to control the outcome, and that awareness that you can't control an outcome will create a sense of anxiety, right? Like, I want to be in control of how this is going to play out, which is something that nobody has.
Yeah,
And so,
but just translated to kids
yeah,
that There is no perfection. We can't
Yeah.
control. And the only thing we can control is how we react. We can do
How
the
we
best
react.
we can, and
Yeah.
we can manage our reaction. And I think if a parent give it to a child, to their child, it's a beautiful gift to know that
Absolutely.
we have no control. We have no control of others' reactions on other behaviors.
Yeah.
We have no control of how the world is gonna be. And if there
Exactly.
is another, um, you know, virus or anything that is happening, we
Yeah.
only have control about how we accept it, how we accept ourselves, and how we react to it.
Yep. Good
And
point.
yeah, and with it, create like more stable environment for the child. Not that I'm saying it's not, but and of course, I'm not talking about the parents who are listening because it's not them, it's other parents. But
No, it's not that.
but about like creating something that is more predictable for the child and knowing that and teach flexibility
Yes.
with it.
Yes. How to be patient and calm as you navigate through unknown situations, to,
Yes,
giving them skills to be able to soothe themselves and feel a sense of pause, right? I can pause and assess this, and I can feel calm moving on.
and then empower them
Yeah.
to know that they can deal with whatever
Right.
comes.
Right.
They
And
have
um, to use the awareness that of things that they've been through in the past, for every challenge that you have gone through, when people are traveling, not that you could travel with COVID, but when things arise that are outside of your control, that are unexpected, challenges or issues that arise, when you overcome it, using that as a measure, like, see, when things happen, there are options that you can navigate, that you can assess the situation and move through it. And every time you have accomplished something out of those situations, proves to you that you can do it, that you are
absolutely
going to
building
come
on
up
that.
with, yeah, yeah, that you can be resourceful. You
And
can,
another way is also to, not another way, it's altogether, it's empowering the kids
yep,
with resources, with tools, strategies, and
yes,
and
strategies.
knowing that we are behind them,
Yes,
allowing them to explore, allowing them to be creative and curious, and allowing them to fail as well,
yep.
because we can learn a lot from failures.
From failures and from recognizing, and this, I'm always saying it, but it's about playing your strengths and deciding what defines you. So when people are working with perfectionism, they're often comparing themselves to other people's strengths and then falling
But
short.
yeah,
And
but it's not necessarily strength, it's what they consider and perceive as strengths, right? Because
yeah,
you know it's not necessarily what the other person think about themselves.
no, absolutely. But when you are a human, when you're a human, but even, through childhood, kids are growing and developing at different rates,
Yeah,
and they are exploring their skill sets and, what they can achieve. And people are meeting those measures at different times. Some kids grow really tall, and some kids can write really neatly, and some kids can sing, and some kids can play sports, and some kids can play video games. Like, and so, from their sense of awareness, people can be watching this and thinking, I'm not as good at that. I'm not as good at that. I'm not as good at that. And they're creating a criticism within themselves instead of being able to appreciate what other people are good at and use it as maybe a motivator or something that you want to work on, but not to compare yourself.
So you said it nicely before, like not to compare yourself, not to bring Celine Dion to a singing contest, right?
Yeah,
But you can still be inspired by Celine Dion.
yes, that's right. Don't compete with people in their arena. Don't
Yeah.
compete with them in their arena. You can observe and be aware of, what kind of things that you admire in other people, what kinds of things you appreciate in other people, what kind of skills you would like to work on within yourself, but be aware of your personal strengths and
And
be
your personal
confident in
growth,
them. Your personal growth.
the
Yeah.
journey that you did. Look back,
Yes.
reflect, and this is the role of the parents to show kids how they can reflect and show them um, how they develop the progress they have made and how far they came.
And that you are not defined on being shorter than the tallest kid in class. You are not defined by not being as good a singer as Celine Dion. Like all of these things. Don't let them define you. Your goal setting can be based on what you admire, but don't let it define you that you don't measure up in ways that are outside of your control. Find your strength, play
So
your strength.
I want to add to it because you said don't define those, but don't allow it to define you. But also, if you are an amazing athlete or singer or whatever, this also doesn't define you. It's part of who you are. But if you can just learn from the journey you did
Yes,
till you get to where you are, this will be much more helpful for you to copy and paste to other areas than just say, this is who I am. I'm a great singer. You are also a great singer, but there are so many aspects of you, so many parts of you that
yeah,
is not, you're not only limited to being a great singer.
that's right. That's right. Multifaceted.
Yeah. So to keep it short and sweet, let's wrap it up and invite the parents to share with us about anxiety, about perfectionism, about anything in between, about the journey that they are taking with their kids as parents like we do, and
Yeah.
how working with kids improve us as parents
Yes.
um, and as human beings. So I love it. You can find our contact information down below. You can reach out to us, you can leave comments, and you can sign up or subscribe to this channel and
Yes.
get more content like this. So
Yes.
until next time, bye bye, Neota, and
Bye,
bye bye,
everyone.
everyone else. Bye.